Hello, this is Mr. Doty, and this part of the video series on sectioning, I wanted to show you an example of a section drawing and using AutoCAD and explain a little bit about what I'm looking for. So that's what we're going to do in this part. So this little introductory just to let you know what's going on so you don't just start into a video and go, what in the world? Because I made one large video and I've divided it up so that hopefully Blackboard will be happy. So enjoy the video. What I did want to do is I wanted to show you what I'm expecting. Here is my template that I made that I used as an example for creating your template for different classes. And this is a half section. So let me go over here to model space, and so I figured out what size it needed to go on the viewport first. So I drew up my drawing like so. Before I did any dimensioning, I went over here to and said, okay, I double clicked in here, I did a zoom all, and it did that. And then I went here and I said, hey, let's see what 1:1 looks like. Ooh, that's tiny. Oh my, that's awful. Then I went, here's 2:1. Aha, there we go. Now you'll notice I used annotative dimensioning. I also used annotative text. And since it's an inch drawing, I used annotative, just the regular one, and it's set up correctly. So I'm going to deactivate my viewport by either hitting model or double clicking out here. And if I go back to model, so what I would do is, the first thing I would do is draw them apart, scale it on the viewport, right? Then go back, go to the correct layer, hopefully you think about it. Or if you go over here to annotate, then you can tell it that you want to use dimension as your dimensioning layer, because that's what I have set up, and mine's red. And then I went in and I dimensioned all this. Now, I had to set up these bilateral, or not bilateral. Well, anyway, I had to set up tolerancing. In CAD 200, you learn how to do this. Well, basically, on here, things that you have to do is you have to go in and you have to set things up under, it's like if I pick this, right click and go to properties, and I go down here to tolerancing. So this is set up as a deviation, which means it's plus, it has an upper limit and a lower limit, okay? Now, let me hit escape, and I'll pick this one. This one is set up as limits. It's set for 0.7500 and then 0.7505. They had it flipped for some reason, but the way AutoCAD does it is it puts the lower limit on the bottom and the upper limit on the top. Logic, hello. But it's not plus or minus. This is actual limit. It gives you the actual limits. So that's limits. This is deviation. How much does it deviate? Plus or minus, whatever. And it's not symmetrical, okay? Your other options, here, let me just show you. So you have symmetrical, so that would be like plus or minus 0.001, okay? And it would do that. But if you have it plus 0, minus 0.002, like this is, then you have to use a deviation. So that's the difference on how to make them tolerance. And you don't have to create your own style. All you do is put the information, put the dimension on there like you're supposed to, get out of dimensioning, pick this, right click, go to properties, and then go down to tolerancing and adjust what you need to adjust. And it'll be fine. That's all I did. Mr. Anderson helped me. He did a good job because it's been a while since I had done this, and I can still do it. Now, I'm not a real fan of this right here, but this is standard. I'd have to go back and look it up in I've got a book that has all the commands in it. There's a way to tell it not to do that. standard, but whatever. So I have 3 times. I had to edit this too and add the 3x in front of it. Okay, so when you do that, when you double click on it and you edit it, you've got to remember that this is, AutoCAD put this in, so you don't want to delete it accidentally. So you need to use your arrow keys to go left until you're in front for sure of the text that's defaulted there, the dimension that you want to keep, and then add whatever it is in front of it. Like, I'm in edit it mode here. If you need a diameter, if you need degrees, you've got diameter, you can add those things in there. Obviously, this is a radius. It doesn't need a diameter. And I used the actual radius command under dimensioning. So up here under dimensioning, I used radius, so it gave me the R. I just needed to put the 3x so that it knew to do that. Now my question is why are there 3 radiuses? That could be an actual error on it too. I found some other ones too, like this here. If you run into any thread notes, hopefully I will have that figured out for you. I try not to give you any with threads on them, like this one. For one reason is he had it wrong. Whoever did this, they didn't have it dimensioned correctly. So anyway, the other reason I wanted to show you this is I wanted you to see what I like, what I'm looking for. Mr. Anderson said, yeah, that's a nice looking drawing. I said, thank you. Because I try to get it across to you guys, what I'm looking for. Notice how consistent the spacing is, and he had a good example. So you're trying to figure out how far I need to have, these two apart. Well, since they're a single line, they're not extra like this. If you think about the height of your lettering and leave about that much space in between, and you can use stretch to, I can use stretch, go home, and go stretch, and I can use a crossing window like so. Didn't pick it, did it? Huh, weird. Oh, I'm in a viewport. Haha, funny. Anyway, we'll go over in model space. How about that? All right, now there's 2 ways you can adjust this. You can pick on it, and then it pulls up all the different scales I have. And then you can pick this and you can move it around. Well, if it hooks onto something you don't want it to, then that doesn't help you out. You can also stretch and do this, and then, come out here and pull it down a little bit if you wanted to, like so. Now, one of the reasons that those are showing up is I have the magic triangles on down here. This one you want to have on because it shows annotative objects, and everything we're using is annotative. Text, multi-leader style, dimensioning, okay? Beat that into your brain, please. And then here is your other magic triangle that says show, oh no, I'm sorry, I'm reversed. This is show the objects, so that one has to be on. This one shows scale changes. So in other words, when I pick on this, it shows all of them, which if you can look past that, it's okay. Here's how you get around that. Figure out what scale you want to use first before you dimension it, and you'll be good to go. And there's some other things you can do. You can go in, you can edit it, you can delete the extra dimension scales, but why? Why don't we just keep it simple? Okay, so if you have any questions, feel free to contact me and let me know what you think. I'm going to go ahead and post this and get some feedback. And from there, I'll either remake it or leave it as is. So as I always say, take care out there, and we'll see you around. Have a good day.